Breaking: UPND youth demand ministers fired after Chingola violence, 5 arrested. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. We're coming to you on what has been a tumultuous weekend for Zambian politics. And I hope you're settling in well as we dive into today's edition because, my friends, what we're about to discuss is nothing short of explosive. Picture this: the President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, standing before his people at Chimbola Market in Chingola district. He's come bearing promises, come to address the grievances of vendors who lost their businesses. The crowd gathers. The sun beats down on the copper belt. And then, chaos erupts. Stones begin to fly through the air. Not at ordinary citizens. Not at political opponents. But at the head of state himself. At the commander-in-chief of the defense force. Rocks hurled with fury and rage, turning what should have been a peaceful engagement into a scene of violence and disorder. A police vehicle engulfed in flames. Security scrambling. The president's life placed in danger. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. How does this happen? How does the president of a nation walk into what intelligence services should have known was hostile territory? How do stones make it past layers of security protocols, past advance teams, past the very people sworn to protect the highest office in the land? And now, from within the ruling party itself, voices of dissent rise like thunder. The UPND youth chairman for Northwestern Province, Bruce Kanema, has issued a damning statement calling for heads to roll. Not just any heads. Ministers. 3 ministers, to be exact. His words cut through the political noise like a knife. By subjecting the president's life to a dangerous ground, let me suggest that we need to see many people being fired, including 3 ministers. What catastrophic intelligence failure allowed this to happen? Who will be held accountable when the president's own security apparatus appears to have crumbled? And as 5 suspects now sit in detention, facing arson and riot charges, one question looms larger than all others. Is this the beginning of a wider crisis within the ruling party, or merely the first crack in what could become a devastating political collapse? The revelation came to light on November 8, 2025, at approximately 14:50 hours in the afternoon, when what should have been a routine presidential visit transformed into a national security incident. President Hakainde Hichilema had traveled to Chingola district in Copperbelt province to address residents at Chimbola Market and Chingola Secondary School grounds. The purpose of the visit was clear and ostensibly benign. The president intended to engage with market vendors who had lost their businesses and to provide reassurance of government support. But at approximately 15:50 hours, Superintendent Lloyd Kanando, a 48-year-old police officer based at Copperbelt Division headquarters, made an emergency report to Chingola Central Police Station. The report detailed a shocking turn of events. An irate mob had turned riotous during the presidential address, hurling stones and setting fire to a police motor vehicle, a white Toyota Land Cruiser with registration number ZP2537B. The sequence of events unfolded rapidly. As the president addressed the gathered crowd, tensions that had apparently been simmering beneath the surface suddenly exploded. Stones began flying toward the presidential entourage. Chaos ensued. The crowd, described by authorities as containing elements of the so-called Jarabos, small-scale illegal miners who have long been a source of tension in Chingola, turned violent. 7 police officers sustained injuries during the incident. Property was damaged. And most disturbingly, the head of state safety was compromised in a way that has sent shockwaves through Zambia's political establishment. Within hours of the incident, the Zambia Police Service launched a comprehensive investigation. By the evening of November 8, 2 suspects had been apprehended: Abraham Columbu, a 24-year-old unemployed resident of Chimbola Township, and Abraham Sikhone, a 21-year-old bar attendant from Jamba Compound. Both were charged with arson and detained. As investigations continued through November 9, 3 additional suspects were arrested, bringing the total to 5. These individuals, James Bonda, 30, Arnold Mbu, 22, and Jackson Bulow, 25, now face serious charges related to the riot and destruction of property. But even as police moved to restore order and pursue suspects, a political firestorm was igniting within the very party that President Hichilema leads. Bruce Kanema, the UPND youth chairman for Northwestern Province, did not mince words in his statement following the Chingola incident. His message, shared publicly, reveals the depth of frustration and alarm within sections of the ruling party. Kanema stated, "May I express my disappointment at the unruly, disrespectful and treasonous behavior of the so-called Jarabos in Chiwempela of Chingola district." His statement continued with stark language about what could have happened. In other countries, today we could have witnessed bloodshed of such disrespectful characters. But Kanema's most pointed criticism was reserved not for the rioters, but for those charged with protecting the president. He posed a series of damning questions. However, all I may wish to ask is whether Chingola has the intelligence or not, and what happened to our president and State House intelligence. Then came the bombshell. By subjecting the president's life to a dangerous ground, let me suggest that we need to see many people being fired, including 3 ministers. Kanema elaborated on the severity of the security breach. In the midst of grievances of any kind, youths must not be used to throw stones at the president, more especially that he came to the aid of those who have lost their businesses at the marketplace. He concluded with a warning. Finally, let the law take its course, otherwise that behavior may spread to other parts of the country where youths may assume that such actions of throwing stones at the head of state are the best way to air their grievances. The Inspector General of Police, Graffel C. Muzamba, issued an official statement on November 9, 2025, providing the government's perspective on the incident. The statement reads in part, "The Zambia Police Service wishes to sternly warn all would-be offenders that acts of violence, riotous behavior, and destruction of property will not be tolerated." Muzamba emphasized, "The police will continue to pursue and arrest anyone found involved in the riot until all perpetrators are brought to book." He added, "Peaceful expressions of opinions remain a constitutional right, but violence and lawlessness have no place in our society." Meanwhile, political observers have been equally vocal. An editorial from Mafkin FM Radio and Television, dated November 8, 2025, stated, "The unsettling images from Chingola, where a public rally of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema was violently disrupted by a group of unruly youths, demand more than just condemnation. They demand deep introspection from the very institutions tasked with ensuring stability and political order." The editorial continued with scathing analysis. "The intelligence lapse is profound and unacceptable. The primary function of any national intelligence apparatus is to foresee and forestall threats to public order and the safety of key figures." It went further, questioning the entire security apparatus. The quality of their performance in Chingola suggests either a dangerous disconnect from the grassroots realities or a complacency that has set in, believing the political environment to be universally friendly. Regarding party structures, the editorial noted, "The UPND structures on the Copperbelt led by Mr. Matambo must do serious soul-searching. The failure of the local party machinery to sense the brewing discontent, or the presence of organized elements intent on causing mayhem, is a significant political miscalculation." Opposition Member of Parliament Sunday Chanda also weighed in, calling for accountability while maintaining a measured tone. His statement emphasized, "For the sake of national unity and the safety of all citizens, we must all speak with one voice. Violence will not be tolerated, perpetrators will be held to account, and our democracy will be defended." The Chingola incident has exposed multiple layers of institutional failure and raised profound questions about governance, security, and political cohesion in Zambia. First and foremost is the intelligence breakdown. Presidential movements operate under strict security protocols involving multiple layers of advanced planning, threat assessment, and on-ground protection. The fact that violence of this magnitude could erupt during a presidential visit suggests either catastrophic intelligence failure or a dangerous underestimation of grassroots discontent. As one security analyst writing in the Zambian Observer noted, presidential movements are guided by strict protocols. The work of intelligence, police, and advanced security teams is to anticipate and neutralize threats long before the president arrives. That is why this incident raises serious concerns. A lapse of this scale suggests that something broke down in the chain of command. But the crisis extends beyond security. The Chingola violence has revealed deep-seated socio-economic tensions involving the Jarabos, informal miners who have become a volatile political force in the Copperbelt region. These individuals have been involved in previous incidents of unrest, and their grievances over access to mining areas and economic opportunities appear to have reached a boiling point. Allegations of corruption have also surfaced, with some sources claiming that certain ministers have been enriching themselves through arrangements with financially capable Jarabos, sidelining the majority who struggle for survival. These accusations, while unproven, add fuel to the political fire and complicate the government's response. The call by UPND's own youth chairman for ministerial dismissals represents an unprecedented internal challenge to the administration. Bruce Kanema's demand that 3 ministers be fired, though he has not publicly named them, signals a fracture within the ruling party itself. This is not opposition. Criticism. This is friendly fire. Political commentators have pointed to broader systemic issues. There are concerns that the UPND has become disconnected from grassroots realities, particularly in areas like the Copperbelt that were traditionally opposition strongholds. The party's local structures appear to have failed in their fundamental duty, reading the political temperature and preventing crises before they erupt. Some analysts have drawn parallels to previous eras of Zambian politics, noting that the Jarebo's phenomenon is not new. During the MMD and PF administrations, similar groups caused disruptions and were allegedly used by various political factions for their own ends. The question now is whether the UPND has simply inherited these problems or whether its policies have exacerbated them. There are also deeper questions about democratic norms and political violence. Opposition MP Sunday Chanda's call for a full, transparent, and impartial investigation reflects a consensus that this incident cannot be swept under the rug. He has demanded a complete investigation with findings made public, a review of security arrangements for public officials, criminal prosecution of those who incite or execute violence, collective leadership from all political parties to condemn violence, community outreach and youth engagement initiatives. The incident has also sparked uncomfortable conversations about privilege, governance, and accountability. Some observers note that while the UPND came to power promising a new dawn of transparency and economic renewal, the realities on the ground for many ordinary Zambians have not dramatically improved. High unemployment, particularly among youth, creates fertile ground for the kind of unrest witnessed in Chingola. Legal experts point out that the charges facing the 5 arrested suspects, arson and riot-related offenses, carry serious penalties. But there are broader legal questions. Will anyone in positions of authority be held accountable for the security failures? Will there be consequences for those who may have ignored intelligence warnings or failed to properly assess threats? The political implications are equally significant. With general elections scheduled for 2026, the Chingola incident could be a harbinger of difficulties ahead for the UPND, particularly in regions where economic frustrations remain high. If the perception takes hold that the government cannot maintain order or protect even its own president, confidence in the administration could erode rapidly. And that, my friends, is where we stand tonight. 5 suspects in custody, ministers under scrutiny, a security apparatus under question, and a nation watching carefully to see how its leadership responds to one of the most serious breaches of presidential security in recent memory. The Chingola violence has opened wounds that go far deeper than stones thrown at a political rally. It has exposed questions about intelligence, accountability, political disconnect, and the simmering frustrations of marginalized communities. Whether this incident becomes a catalyst for meaningful reform or simply another chapter in Zambia's complex political story remains to be seen. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of InspirAfrica Official. This is a developing story, and we will continue to bring you updates as investigations proceed and as the political fallout unfolds. What are your thoughts? Do you believe ministers should face consequences for the security failures in Chingola? Should there be a complete overhaul of presidential security protocols? And what does this incident tell us about the state of Zambian politics as we approach the 2026 elections? Drop your comments below. Share this video with anyone who needs to understand what's happening in Zambia right now. And remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next edition. This is Nakash, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep questioning. Good day.